Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at drawing something interesting. Now most of this stuff we can draw easily, but I want to kind of focus your attention on those saw blades. You can see that we have a overall distance of 14 and we have the width, but it does not give us a length. I'll show you how to solve that in this video by using, some calculations and things of that nature. And trust me, don't worry about it. It's not going to be that hard. So let's jump over to AutoCAD and get started. Alright, so let's go ahead and get rid of the normal stuff that we do. Let's go ahead and turn the grid off. In this case, we'll go ahead and turn ortho on. So I'll click here, and then let's take a look at what my running O snaps are. In this case, these are going to be the ones I'm going to use. Alright, so let me make sure that grid is off. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with a rectangle. So I'm going to go rectangle, click here, and then I'm going to give it its coordinates, which is 8.5, comma, 32. Alright, so that's going to be my overall height. I will go ahead and zoom the extents. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and explode this by selecting the explode command. What that does is breaks it up into individual pieces. Next, I'm going to go ahead and use the copy command. I'll select my line here. Go ahead and hit enter. Remember, I'm going this direction and I have my ortho turned on, so I'm just going to point this direction. I'm going to type in 1.5, enter. And then I'm going to type in the 2 plus the 1.5 is 3.5. And that's going to be everything I need here on the first point. Now I do have the other distance that I'm going to need here, but I'll go ahead and put that in later since that distance is actually referenced from this line, right? So if we want to go ahead and do it now, we can just use the offset command. Type in the distance of 3. And then let's offset this line going back this direction, right? So we have all three of our lines that we're going to need on the inside. One other thing I want you to take note of is that this object is symmetrical. So what I mean by that is that the circle and everything that's happening here is also the exact same thing that's happening here. So I'm going to use that to my benefit here. So I'm just going to go to copy. I'll select this bottom line. Go ahead and hit enter. And then I'm going to go up, right? First distance I'm going to type is 2. Then I'll type in 28. And then I need that little distance between the other two lines, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I'll be able to calculate that here in a second, which should be 3. So if I go up, I'm just going to type in 3, enter, and that looks a little close actually. And it actually might be a different number, but we'll deal with that later. All right, let's go ahead and hit the escape button. Let me go ahead and delete some of these. And let's take a look at that again. I'm just going to use the offset command and that'll make things a lot easier for me. So I'm just going to offset. I'll go 2. And let's go ahead and offset this top line down 2 and this one up 2. I'll go back, set command. Let's use 5. So offset this top line going down and then this one going up 5. Alright. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this offset of 9, and that's going to kind of give me the base point of where my saw blade or my little syringe there is going to start. So I'm just going to offset 9 from this point down and this point up. Alright, if I've done this correctly, the distance between here and here should be 14. Alright, let's go ahead and check that. So I'm just going to go to measure. I'm going to select this endpoint, and you can see that when I hover over this line between there, it's giving me a number of 14, so that is indeed correct. Alright, let's go ahead and kind of manipulate this a little bit. I'm going to use the fillet command. I always like to verify that my radius is set to 0, so that's correct. Go ahead and hit enter, and then I have multiple of these, so I'm just going to select the multiple option, and then I'm going to select these two lines and these two. Now I could have hit and put the fillets on there right now, but I like to save that a little bit later. So I'm just going to kind of work this around this way. Likewise this way. I'll go ahead and kind of bend this down, and I understand that that line did shorten there, but I'm just going to go back to this, to here, and then I'm going to go here to here. Then I'll go ahead and place that back. I'll come back later with the trim command and take care of that. I'll do the same here. So I'm going to go here to here and to here. Now this is where my saw blade is going to take place at. So I can leave that alone for right now. Alright, so remember that this distance is 14 all the way through here. What I need to do is specify kind of where that line is and how to figure that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a construction line. And then I'm going to give it an angle. So remember that if I'm rotating from this angle up 30, 60. So I'm just going to choose angle, type in 60. And then I'm going to place it right at that intersection. Alright, so there's my line that's measuring at 60 degrees. Now I need to get that distance that's located here. Well, if we know the overall length of this, and we know how many blades or how many kind of peaks that we have there, that's going to kind of help me out a lot here. So I'm just going to go to offset. How many of it? The total length I have. So I have 14 divided by how many peaks I have. In this case, it's going to be 8. So that's 14 divided by 8. And then I should be able to offset this line going up that direction, right? Alright, so now what I have here is the blade that I need. Let's go ahead and use the fillet command and go ahead and kind of clean this up a little bit more. So that's that. And let's put one more fillet here as well. Go into there. And I know it kind of shortened it on the other side. If I want to add that fillet back, I can go ahead and do that now. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a trim. So I'm just going to trim off this portion here. Alright, so now I have my saw blade here, right? Now, some people would use the array command. I'm going to show you a different way of doing this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the copy command. So I'm going to go to copy. I'm going to select the objects I want. Go ahead and hit enter. I'm going to pick the base point is here. So at that endpoint, then I'm going to choose the word array on my command line. And then I'm going to type in the number. So how many of them I have? I have 8 of them. And then long as I click going this direction up to that endpoint or intersection, that is going to be where my other end will be. Go ahead and hit escape now. And let's go ahead and delete these 2 lines here. Alright, let's go ahead and do this trimming and get some of this stuff out of the way. So let's go and trim. We're going to trim off that portion here and here, right? I'll just go ahead and erase this line here since we don't need it. So that's most of the stuff that we're going to need to create that part, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and put the fillets on this. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and put our holes on here and we'll save the fillets for last. What I'm going to do at this location is I'm going to move my UCS. So I'll select the UCS. I'm going to select the square and I'm going to place it on that endpoint. Now, if you're looking at the drawing, it says that the location of that circle is going to be 3 going this way and 3 up. So I'll go to circle, center diameter. I'm going to type in its coordinates. It's going to be -3, 3. Once I hit enter, it's going to ask me for the diameter. In this case, it's going to be 2. Like I said, we're going to take advantage of this thing being symmetrical, but if this is all I needed that UCS for, it's always a good practice to go ahead and snap it back. Alright, let's go ahead and use the mirror command. So I'm going to mirror right across here. Select that object, go across that midpoint. Now I have that one. Alright, I'm going to join this line back together just so I can get the benefits of it. So I'm just going to use that and go to the join command, or you can hit J enter on your keyboard. And if you want to be a little bit more proactive with this, you can also select these lines here, and I'm just pre-selecting them. And then I'm going to join these as well. So I'm going to do all of those lines except for the lines or the endpoints of where it connects with my saw blade from. Alright, here's the benefit of doing that, or the payoff for it. Alright, so I'm just going to go to fillet, radius. I'll put in my radius. In this case, it's going to be 0.5. Enter. I'm going to select the word Polyline. I'm going to select this line here. And you can see that all of that happens, right? Let's go back to it. And I'm just going to hit enter. Take me back to that command. I'm going to go and justify my radius again. I'm going to tell it that it's 2. And then I'm going to select the word Polyline again. And this time I'm going to select this one on the outside. All right. And that's going to be it for the whole thing. So you can see it's kind of giving me a tip. If you see these, sometimes it does have a multiple fillet macro, which is very useful. But hopefully you enjoyed this in the video, and I kind of showed you a little bit of tricks or the way my mind thinks about this sometimes. If you got any question on something I did or how I figured out some of this stuff, just go ahead and leave me a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to reply back to you and answer. Or if there's something that you want to specifically see me do, go ahead and let me know. All right? Go ahead, and I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and please go ahead and subscribe and share if you know anyone that needs this help. Thank you for watching.